important thing. If you're a reseller that's been around for a while, we tell you what your job title is. If you want to summarize it into a job title, we tell you it's the messenger. It's the messenger. We tell you that, and the more you can adopt that, the more successful you're going to be. I guarantee it. If I looked at who has the biggest checks in the network right now, what they do most, they're just great messengers. Messengers. Be the messenger first, especially when you have super progressive technologists and super progressive technology. You will be speaking about things that people don't yet understand, people don't yet know about, people don't think it's possible. So it's going to be your ability to be a messenger that's going to, by far, pay you the best dividends. Messenger, not message. And that's the biggest point. I'm just going to kind of jump in there, and I'm going to help people make money and stop you from wasting money for the people that truly understand this. When you are the message, you will make less money. So when you stand in front of somebody and you say, me, look at I, look at how much I know, look at how much I can explain, you're going to make less money. You just will. When you say, man, I'm the messenger, let me show you what this guy, let me point to this woman, let me show you about, when you can just do that, you will make 1,000 times much more money. You will duplicate faster. You just have to embrace that. So I'm going to talk a bit today about vision, but I'm going to try to, as always, this is a small group. We're at a very critical time, and I think, in our company's history, and that this is the new future, right? So these are the people that are going to build the empire, and we are on a mission to build an empire. We don't hide our agenda. We want an empire, a global empire. And we want you to be the imperialists. We want you to be the people that are building your own empires. And you're going to have to be highly motivated. So I'm very much like Rick. I'm not as, I don't shake them up like Rick. I'm not Earthquake. But we don't sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you how you're going to have to be highly motivated to really be successful. Now, you can make some modest money being a car payment, that type of thing. But for the people here that are trying to make extraordinary income, or life-changing income, or financial leverage, you are going to have to be exceptionally motivated. Because that's the thing that's going to change everything around your circumstances. And in fact, I'm going to tell you a story, because I remember the exact moment, and I've told this story before, so the people that have known me for a long time, it's going to be a repeat. I don't think many of you have heard it, but I remember the exact moment I was taught the lesson about the absolute awe-inspiring power of personal motivation. And I was in the Navy. I was probably 19 or 20 years old. I was in the Navy. And I was going through this workout at sea, and it was very hard. I was in the Navy. I was enlisted in the Navy. And I hated going to sea at the time, right? It was just hard work. Believe me, Navy people, it's hard work on a ship. And at the time, I was very young and very thin. I had no buoyancy. I could lay on the bottom of a swimming pool. So swimming for me was a chore, was a challenge. I wasn't afraid of water, but I wasn't destined to be a great swimmer. But one day, we were sitting on the deck of the ship, and the officer came out and said, okay, we need volunteers to go to pilot rescue swimming school. Now, these are the people that fly into the storm on a helicopter, jump into the raging ocean, and rescue pilots that had to eject out over the ocean. These are like fish people, right? And they asked, well, who wants to go to this school? And somebody else asked, well, when is the school? And he said, well, the school is, like Monday. And we were supposed to be out at sea on Monday. And then I said, well, if you go to the school, the ship's going to be out at sea. And he said, well, if you go to the school, you're going to have to wait for the ship to come back. Ship was going to be out at sea for 3 weeks. So as a little kid, I do the math and quickly say, if I go to the school, I'm going to last all but 10 minutes. I'm going to get kicked out of school because there's no way I'm going to pass the school. Ship's going to be gone. I'm going to be stuck on shore for 3 weeks. I volunteer. And he says, Lieutenant Man, can you swim? Yes, sir. Absolutely. And in my mind, well, not well, but I can swim. Okay, so I go to the swimming school, and sure enough, bunch of SEALs, instructors, everybody knows who SEALs now are, right? Because they're famous for getting a bad guy. But these are extraordinarily gifted athletes and superhuman. These people are beyond. And there's a bunch of them around the pool, and about a dozen or so guys that are trying to swim this class, and we had the thing is, you jump in the pool, you swim a certain stroke back and forth under a certain time limit. That was the thing. So we all jump in, and of course, I can't swim compared to them. So they all get out there way ahead of me, and, they're all coming back past me, I'm still going, and they're done with their time out on the side, resting. I'm still in the pool, just trying to make it, And soon as I get back to the edge, it's time to do the next one. Everybody else is all rested, right, because they go do it so fast. So it's time to go again. And we jump back in the pool, and we go in, and I'm like just struggling. And again, they get way out ahead of me, and they're all on the side of the pool, and I still got like half the way to go. And then it started to happen. And then the unexpected started to happen. They started to cheer for me. Oh, and I'm thinking to myself, crap. What are they doing? Can't they see I'm not supposed to be here? So I'm in the pool, and I'm like, okay, I'm keeping swimming. I'm swimming. I'm barely making it. And I barely make it to the edge. But now I'm exhausted. I'm getting exhausted. Time to go again. Next thing, and they all jump in the pool again, and I'm in the pool, and I'm swimming. Same thing. They're out in the pool. I'm even more slower now than I was in the beginning. I'm going progressively downhill. But now, they're cheering more. They're like on the side of the pool. Come on, you can do it, come on. And I'm like in the middle of the pool, swimming. And then I started to have some real powerful reconciliation with that voice in my head. And I look around the pool, and I realize I see 5 lifeguards. And I do another little quick math in my head, and I said, you know what? It's impossible for me to drown in this pool. Too many lifeguards. There's no way I could drown in this pool. So I say, okay. Because what I immediately realized is I couldn't quit on those people cheering for me. I couldn't do it. I had the heart to raise my hand to go get kicked out. I had my heart to jump into this situation that I knew I couldn't survive in, but I did not have the heart to tell these strangers on the side of the pool I couldn't do it. I would drown first. So I made this reconciliation that, you know what? I will drown today before I quit on these people. They will pull me off the bottom of the pool. I really didn't think I could really drown, but I knew I wasn't getting out. So now I'm choking on the water. I'm trying to make it. People are cheering, and I'm incredibly exhausted. Can hardly move. And it got to the point where, I knew I wasn't going to make it. I'm starting to go down, and the instructor calls me over to the side of the pool, and he says, look, we never let people come back. This is like a one-shot deal. But I've been talking to the other instructors, and we like your heart. You cannot swim. We're going to let you go away, improve yourself, and we will give you permission to return. Get the hell out of my pool. And then when they drove, I couldn't even get out of the pool. When they pulled me out of the pool and I was walking into the locker room, people were standing there clapping. Now, I like to tell that story, and I haven't told that story that many times, but I think about it a lot because that story is a lot, to me, is a lot of embedded lessons in that story. A lot of them. First of all, I was willing to do the uncomfortable to avoid something I didn't like. Think about that little one decision. I was rose my hand to do the extreme uncomfortable, to do something I really didn't, to avoid something I really didn't want to do, which was go to sea. I didn't want to do that, right? But then I also realized that, there's another magical moment was the moment I decided to go all in. I didn't have to do that. I could have jumped in, struggled a little bit, got behind. Cheering could have meant nothing for me. And I could have got kicked out and, everybody understand. But I decided, no, I'm all in. I will drown today before I quit on the people around the pool. This is another thing that I realized was so profoundly powerful for me about this day, is that when I woke up this morning, first of all, I had no idea I would go to the pool. Second of all, I had no idea that would be a life-changing day. To this day, I couldn't tell you the name of one person at that pool. And it's obviously had a massive impact on me. I couldn't tell you one person's name, and none of them could tell you who I am. So this hugely magical thing, in my opinion, this transformational day happened among strangers. Think about that. Blown away by just that little thing. And it changed the way, it changed what I thought about this whole idea of jumping all in. Just because when you do that, everything changed, right? Just by trying, I changed people around me. I'm sure if I could interview everybody there, they were cheering for something else. They were cheering for something they saw in me that they might, it's something personal there. They don't know who I am. They didn't even know who they were cheering for. They just saw a person swimming, trying, and it did something. Profoundly powerful. There's a lot of power in that, So I wonder, and I'm saying all this before we talk about vision, because my vision of the company is less important than your vision of the company, right? My vision of where we're going is much less important than your vision of where you're going using us as a vehicle. Because to us, we're just the pool. That's all it is. For us, from your position, we're just the pool. And for you, it could be some place you show up and nothing happened, or it could be that day where everything happened. Everything happened in that pool that day. So I tell that story because after I left that pool, I had this thing about just being motivated. And this was before the Marines, right? And this was not in the Navy. I went to the Navy first. I was just motivated. And then I started, for things people didn't want to do, I would just do, but I would just be extreme in my willingness to go do crap that people didn't want to do. And guess what happened? It started to be a little fun thing in that. It started to be a little cult kind of thing. Not cultish, but like, we want to be like renegade-ish, rebel-ish, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I know who would do that. He'd do it. And I was in the time I was in the Navy, I was in the non-designated people. So I was with the people that didn't have a technical job or anything like that. And that inspired people. But I learned that, wow, when you're inspired, other people are inspired. So one thing I'm going to tell you guys, because this is a room of leadership. Most people in leadership think it's your job to be motivating. I'm going to say that's not accurate. It's your job to be motivated. Two different things. People, even to this day, people say, yeah, I hear you're pretty motivating when you speak to the audience sometimes. Well, that's not the intent. I might be motivated about what I talk about, but that's the magic. So if you're right now trying to figure out, what can I do to motivate my team? What can I do to motivate all these people in my group? Why aren't people motivated? Why isn't my group motivated? I can simplify it for you. Solve a simpler problem. Worry about one. Jump in the pool, go all in. You're not going to drown, I guarantee it. Just jump all in and see what happens. I guarantee you, in your life scenario, the people around the pool will clap. You saw it on the, every time I see that Facing with Giant movie, I think about the day in the pool. And if you go back and watch that movie, what inspires me the most about the movie is not the guy on the field, it's the people watching. Because the story plays out over and over and over. I see it all the time. Somebody decides to do something a little bit extraordinary, everybody's laughing in the beginning. Go back and watch the film. Great job, because those people are laughing and joking. And then when the people keep doing it, they just start to get quiet. And when they go past what they thought you could do, they silent. It's quiet. It's nothing. They just stood there on the sideline watching. You know why? Because that person is showing them what they've been too cowardly to do. Past their own limits. So now they're just standing there looking. And then if you watch that film, the next thing you do, they're following the person. If you want to know leadership, that's it. Same thing. Every time I see that thing, every time I see that clip, Connie, every time I see that clip, I think about, wow, just like the day in the pool. Just like the day in the pool. Just like that day in the pool. Because that's what happened. It was the effect of the people around me that impacted me most on that day. So that's my little preamble for why it's so critical about you having your vision with this company. More than even our vision. You be clear on your vision, we will become what you need us to be, for sure. We will become what you need us to be. Now, from a company's perspective and from a product perspective, you can see our job is to stay on the edge of the wave, right? To stay